Yeah, thanks for having me. I mean, it has been an incredible last year where obviously after a tough 2020, we had a very strong 2021, and that meant a lot of new jobs, obviously. It meant that wages rose. We obviously experienced inflation. I think that companies are going to definitely need to adapt. Like, this is a new reality, and so companies need to sort of manage that. There's all sorts of ways people are doing this, but there's a lot of opportunity baked in here. So, for example, companies can now hire people around the country, even around the world. And we're really in an employees market. And so companies really need to change the way that they think about this, because more so than ever, employees have choice. They can choose where they want to work. Right. There's options. They don't need to be restricted to the company around them.
Tell me what you're seeing on the salary front right now.
There have been huge increases in a lot of roles in a lot of industries in the last year, in many cases even outstripping inflation. And so what that means is that companies have to respond to that by figuring out ways to be more productive per employee, by making sure that they do things like retain employees longer so that people have more time to get ramped, to be productive. Companies need to think about where their location lives and where do they have offices, where do they want to have sort of their teams based. But it's a real, situation that is there might be signs that it doesn't keep increasing at this rate, but we are certainly in a different sort of market for employment than we've been in recent history.
Yeah, and you guys are obviously showing growth. You're a startup yourselves, if we still call you that, after you raised $175 million at a $3 billion valuation. Tell me, I'm curious about this. What does it mean that you offer $100,000 to anyone who wants to go start a business?
Yeah, so I mean, we really want to keep employees at Lattice. Like, it is important to us that we're able to have a place where people don't want to just work for a year or two, but where they feel like they can really build careers. And we believe that companies that can hold employees for a long time will reap huge benefits from that. At the same time, we believe in a philosophy where you see the employee as a person first and your employee second. And so, there come moments in time when employees want to do things that a company can't offer. And so we want to support that. And one of the ways we do that is, we've got a lot of entrepreneurial people who work at Lattice, and we want to support, that journey. And if people want to start a company, that is like one thing that obviously we can't provide. And so, we want to sort of like be one of their first investors and be behind them. So, we would love for people to stay with us, but more than that, we sort of want the people who work here to be successful, and we sort of take that ethos with us in everything we do.
These are people who I was reading it as if they're still working at Lattice and they get $100,000 to start another company in the meantime. But it sounds like what you're saying is when they leave, they might have you might have the option of being an investor up to that extent, and then kind of benefiting if the company does well in the longer run.
Exactly. It's like saying, hey, if you come to Lattice and you're like, I loved my journey here, I want to start my own company, and that's really important to me, Lattice will invest in your company, and we'll be behind you, and we'll support that next phase of your journey outside of Lattice.
Employers of the world, this is what you're up against. Lattice is offering perks like these to a workforce like this, which is so dynamic and obviously looking for this kind of option. It tells us a lot about what's going on today. Jack, thanks so much for joining us. It's good to see you.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.